thought the other night in Memphis we were a very, very full version of ourselves on both ends of the floor. I thought we looked very much in character, looked the way we want to look in that game. And the challenge is to look like that tonight with different personnel on the floor against a different opponent on a different night. And so looking forward to that, and then looking forward to seeing some of these guys play. We've got a deep team, and we've been healthy since All-Star break, and so some of these guys haven't gotten as many opportunities as we would like, or as they got prior to All-Star break when we had more injuries. So I'm excited to check back in with them and see how they can contribute to the game.
Mark, you talked about the grueling nature of what you went through over the last eight games. Is there anything that stood out about the team or that you kind of found to be a takeaway about this stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always have to evaluate the team in context. It's an 82-game season. You never stay in a perpetual state of where you want to be, even in just a game. Obviously, at times during that stretch, we were out of character defensively relative to the standard that we've set this season. But some of that, I think, can be the scheduling fatigue. It's hard to drum it up, night after night after night when you're playing, with bumps and bruises, and also just the cumulative fatigue of the changing cities. It wasn't like there was a homestand there. And so I was really encouraged the other night in Memphis. I thought we just, at the end of that, to dig down against a really good opponent that was really hungry in the game, and to play the way we did with the energy that we did, the focus and execution we did, I thought was very encouraging. And we've got to continue that here in the next 20 games.
Coach, you mentioned the way the Blazers are playing defensively and they're playing harder. Tawani Kamara, maybe one of the guys that simplifies that's named Western Conference Defensive Player of the Month. What have you seen out of him, and do you prepare for defensive players in the same way that you would prepare for maybe like a top flight offensive player?
Yeah, we prepare for the opposing defensive players in our game plan every single night. We're aware of who the strong defenders are, why they're strong, how they're disruptive. His is, he's got a Herb Jones style. I've said that before. He's up the floor, he's long, but he's a very aggressive defender off the ball. He's an aggressive defender on the ball. You never want the team to go into the game and not be aware of that and have to calibrate that on the fly. So he's done a great job, but I think their whole team is. They have great team length and good schemes, well coached, and have done a very good job here lately, especially.
Mark, this season you guys have only allowed, I think, 6 or 7 30-point games from opposing scores. There's no other team that has single digits. Everyone's above that. What sort of goes into that schematically, or do you think it's more the personnel to sort of cut off the head of the snake of some of those guys? Because that seems like anything most teams would try to do.
Yeah, I think if you want to be a good defense, you have to stop explosive nights. In football, they talk about explosive plays, 60-yard touchdowns. The best defenses don't give those plays up. The NBA version of that is like a player going for 50 against you, 40. And we try to prevent that in every way possible because these guys are really, really good players. Some of it's schematic. Some of it's the cumulative effect or the compounding nature of having a lot of really good defensive players. And then some of it's the point of attack guys, starting with Dort. I mean, he's starting the games. All those guys start the games. And he's playing, oftentimes minute for minute with those players. And they get the best of him on some possessions and even on some nights. But if you compare and contrast, the amount of above average nights that those guys have against him versus the nights that they're below average, it's a huge contrast. And that adds up over the course of a season. So I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. To be able to then go to Kaysen and then go to Caruso from there, even Dub, is a luxury. But he's eating a lot of innings there for us with those types of players.
Coach, Brandon Carlson, just coming off a near triple-double with 7 blocks. And I know you've seen what he's done for you guys offensively. He had that stretch of games where it was 10 threes in 5 games. But what have you seen in terms of his defensive growth in his first year in the league?
He's done a good job. I mean, he's very rangy, and he's a good rim protector, and that's one of the things that before we acquired him that was definitely on our radar. Is he's got good length and he knows how to use it around the basket, and not like the most physical presence right now. He's got to still improve his body, but he's like Holmgren, in that because they're so long, it's hard to get to their body, and you have to kind of play over them and learning those fundamentals He doesn't have the dynamic shot blocking that Chet does, but similar body type. But they're hard to get to because how long they are, and they're willing to stick their nose in plays. So he's done a great job with the opportunities he's had. He's obviously helped us win some games, but he's also done a great job developmentally with his two-way stuff. He's been with the Blue because we only have so many days with these guys coming down the stretch of the season. But I'm looking forward to seeing him play tonight.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
All right.